Hey, Courtney, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How you doing?
Good. Sounds like
Excellent.
practice was good for the offense today.
Yeah, I think 2-minute drill at the end. There's definitely some learning moments for Caleb Williams, but it was a situation where it's the end of a game. They're down by 3. They're trying to tie it up, and he gets flushed out of the pocket and he makes a throw. I mean, it was a picked off throw by Tyreek Stevenson. It wasn't probably I think they want to let him make those chances or take those chances and work through it a little bit. But outside of the 2-minute drill, the offense was really good today. The passing offense, you finally got to see the deep ball accuracy. And, 4 days in, Luther Burden's delivering on, the make good of getting up to speed real quick. And, he was the standout today. There's no question about that.
Wow, that's great to hear.
Would you say that the receivers have been excellent this camp so far?
Yeah, there's definitely been moments. I think it's been a little quieter for someone like DJ Moore. I mean, they're moving him around a lot. You're still seeing him lined up in the backfield, which I am very curious to see how much of that actually translates over to being a part of this offense. But Rome Odunze's had some good days, and even some of the moments like in the red zone periods the other day that they didn't connect. Caleb Williams didn't connect with his receivers. There's still, I think, some teaching points that Ben Johnson feels pretty confident about. And, watching the 3 of them flush out their roles and seeing them lined up a bunch of different places, it's going to be interesting to see who's in the slot. I mean, I think Rome Odunze is becoming the number 1 receiver in this offense, and that's no slight to DJ Moore at all. I think that, look at all the good teams in the NFL, whether it's the Philadelphia Eagles, and, I know the Bengals were a mess last year, but they've got 2 great receivers. Like, every team that's dominant on offense, the Lions being one of them too, they have 2 great receivers. So the Bears are flushing that out, and I think having Burden in the mix, knowing that he ran so many routes out of the slot the last 2 seasons at Missouri, like they've got a lot of compliments to what they can do offensively to where it won't be one-dimensional, to where Caleb Williams is going to have time and options when he's going through his reads to find – he's got a lot of weapons at his disposal, and that's exactly what they were doing when they drafted Burden 39th overall, not going running back, not reaching, not moving back. Like, they saw an opportunity to add, and I think they're glad that they did.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, too, about what you need to really be a dynamic offense these days is not just kind of the old school, give me one great outside receiver, and we'll find ways to piece it together with everybody else. I mean, you want that kind of skill on display all over the field. And then to have some options there in the slot, which sounds like they're definitely going to with DJ and Luther, I think those are good things. I was going to ask you about, like, where are they kind of putting Burden? And it sounds like you can already see it. It's going to be sort of that jack-of-all-trades kind of role for him potentially.
Yeah, I think yesterday that first touchdown, or I guess like really his first catch that he had in team drills, was run out of the slot. He had Kyler Gordon on him there, and he created some separation. I think that's his bread and butter. He's the right size for it. He's got the right skill set as far as, what he presents at that position. And you have prototypes. Like, Rome is this big body X. That's what, Ben Johnson loves about him. And you can have him for the contested catches to win his 50-50 matchups. But Luther Burden also had a really high contested catch rate at Missouri. And one thing you saw today, I might have been a little generous of a spot. Anybody who was at training camp probably saw it and agreed with me, was second-team offense was out there for the 2-minute drill. And Tyson Bagent looks towards Luther Burden on 4th and 10. And that's where the ball's going, to the rookie. I thought it was short, maybe by a yard or 2, but they gave it to him. And, you go back to his college career. I remember talking with his wide receivers coach from Missouri, Jacob Peeler, and there was, the South Carolina game. It's like 4th and 5, and they're looking at him, and he, for a 37-yard touchdown to keep him in it. Same thing happened against Auburn last year. Like, he is that go-to player in those big moments. Now, that's not saying he's automatically going to earn that role in this offense, but I think it was early on, but to demonstrate that you can come through in a gotta-have-it situation, even if it's in training camp, to prove that that's something that you can be trusted with in real time, made a nice impact today and a nice statement for himself.
I saw you tweeted about what Ben Johnson had said to you guys before practice about Jaylon Johnson. And it was something to the effect of there is this scenario where he's ready for week 1. I was like, man, I don't know. I guess I was.
That means there's a lot of other scenarios where he's not ready.
There's too many other scenarios. I guess maybe I'm freaking out a little too much. I don't know. But that didn't sound great. What was your read on that?
It just sounded like something. That wasn't the way it was phrased to us more than a week ago when Ryan Poles said he's going to miss a few weeks of camp.
Yeah.
When you hear there's a scenario where Jaylon Johnson is ready for week 1 of camp, you think, okay, well, what about all the scenarios you're playing out where he's not? Is he closer to not being ready? Because if he's ready for week 1 of camp, it sounds like the way that was phrased sounds like he's going to be missing a lot of training camp. I meant week 1 of the season. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think somebody like that, obviously as talented as he is, as much football as he's played, does he need to be in training camp? No, not necessarily. But the bigger thing is this leg injury not healing the way that maybe they thought it would a week ago when they first announced that he was going on NFI. And even Ben Johnson said these things are tricky, whatever it is. We don't have a whole ton of details on how he injured his leg training away from the team this offseason, but it just, at least the way that it was put out there, it sounds like maybe there might be some sort of setback. Maybe he's not coming along as quickly as maybe they had envisioned, but I don't know. The uncertainty was a little unsettling the way that Johnson said it, because we had not been led to believe that it would be something that would keep him out more than a few weeks.
Yeah. Anybody else standing out that you feel like needs to be singled out?
So the left tackle thing is interesting just because we spoke with all 3 today. And I will say, you've got 3 really sharp dudes vying for that spot. Ozzie Trapillo is a rookie, but he doesn't talk like a rookie. He doesn't come across like a rookie. Karana Magaji, too. I know a lot of people have written him off, just because there's 3 guys competing for a spot. The guy who has 40 starts, the guy that they used a second-round pick on this year, and then there's Karan. I don't view it like that necessarily. I think that there's more that Karan brings to the table. They're still mixing guys in and out with these reps, and Karan, I believe, was the one who started with the ones today, and then it was Braxton, and then it was Ozzie Trapillo. So it's hard to find any sort of consistency when guys are getting 2 reps with the first team unit, and then for the next 3 reps with the first team unit, another guy comes in. So as much as today was supposed to be the day that Ben Johnson talked about, people are going to separate themselves versus, who's trying to just survive camp versus who's trying to thrive and get to, what do you say, be king of the mountain or whatever?
Yeah, king of the mountain.
I think that's hard to do when you have 3 guys vying for a position. So next week, if there's a target date that anybody wants to circle on their calendar as far as when this thing can really kick into high gear, it's that joint practice against Miami. I think we will have a lot more clarity about, whether they go down from 3 to 2, where one guy gets the first team reps one day and then the next guy gets all the first team reps the next day, and then they've kind of found a swing tackle behind there, some depth. I think they've got to start whittling it down 2.5 weeks into camp at that point.
All right, injury-wise, Scott Daly got carted off, I guess, right? Any other big injury news?
Yeah, so it was during a special teams period. They were doing field goals at the end of the game, and I didn't exactly see how he went down, but I saw him on the back of a cart going behind the outdoor on fields 3 and 4. He was going back towards the locker room. So that's one to keep an eye on. Jonah Jackson has also not been out there the last 2 days. He has a leg injury.
Okay. All right, Courtney, great stuff. We appreciate the update, all right?